All right. So, good evening, friends. What I have found today is a flatworm, and these have become quite notorious in the recent times. These flatworms have been known to be invasive and invading various habitats and destroying the local biodiversity. They are voracious feeders, and they just keep on eating as much as they find, and they have been said to wipe off the local biological diversity to a great extent. So I found three of them today. And here I'm sharing their photos with you, their videos rather, with you. Since they're pretty tiny, the video could be a little difficult to watch, but as you can see, maybe let me get some focus and light, enable the flash. Okay, let me try to zoom into this creature. You will find it's a very flat ribbon like, moves in a crawling fashion, and has very prominent lines over the body all along the length, which have become their distinguishing features. Now it has moved off from that plastic sheet onto my working table. No problem. Here is a second specimen. You see, both of these are of the same genotype, especially given their streakings on the body. So I'll just bring this fellow back. Okay, now that it's walking, let me show one unique feature of this worm. It raises its head while it walks, as if seeking some place, and then it proceeds further. Okay, sorry for the handshake. There, you see it glides very smoothly. First, it raises its head, finds a good thing to grab, get a grip, and then it pulls the rest of the body behind. And the speed is pretty impressive in a sense. This is a second directional view. First, I'll just give you a basic demonstration of what this worm looks like. It's a flat worm, which you must have made by now. The body is extremely flat, as you can see from the sides. Let me get along the side to see. Given its length, now this creature is about how much? Oh, sorry. About 1.5 times of this pen. And now let me get you a close-up view of the body marking from the top side. Wait, the hand is shaking a lot this way. There you see the streakings. And the movement is very smooth in a gliding fashion. Not much like a snake, but like a worm, earthworm. And the body is extremely flat. So now, okay, you get a good view of the lines from this side. This is the posterior end, and the worm is moving, crawling rather. Now you see that those lines are so very prominent. We'll try to make a configuration of these lines a little later, but first just observe them. We see two prominent dark lines along the sides, lateral margins, mediolateral sides, and two thin lines on the sides of the dorsal portion. Hey, don't go there. Okay, now I'll just get this fellow off before it ventures somewhere else. Okay, one more thing that I observe is when I pick it up, it's very sticky. You can see it has got a stickiness. The mouth, it's not leaving it. So must be having some good gripping mechanism. Back to the plastic. Right. So now we shall go a little more proby into this. Let me show you the flatiness of this specimen. As I said, these are flatworms. So the body is extremely flat, you can see. It's like a ribbon, and that's also called ribbon worms. They were reported first in Guinea, New Guinea, and they have been called as the New Guinea worms. Then there have been reports from various other parts of the continent, the entire globe, in fact. And how did a hair get here? Sorry for that. Must have been mine. So now let me get the light a little close in. This has been a very helpful device in such observations that I do. Now let me get the light close by and try to get a better view of this creature. The color here apparently is a little difficult to see, but let me explain. It's like woody brown as base and black, dark black lines, and the brown the brown base is quite uniform throughout. See the gliding movement it produces. That brown tends to appear more like dirty yellow, brownish yellow. Hey, 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 hey! Don't go back! Don't go back! Don't go down there. Back. That is the other one, the first one that I came across. It has some sort of injury. Maybe it was my fault here, and that white thing that you see, it's some sort of exude, but it's not getting removed as such. This, and probably it is because of that injury that it's very lazily just lying down there. This one here is pretty active, and you can see it's extremely elongated now. So the body is extremely flexible, very flexible, and let me give her an extension to crawl over. Maybe this page, this paper would be fine, just fine. If it wants to, I won't stop. Then the third one that I have is in this bottle. It is sticking on the lid, and that's why it's difficult for me to get it out. You can see it's on the lid. So if I try to take it out, it will be injured, and therefore I've left her. Her, he, him, whosoever. Okay, coming to the biology of this creature again, it's a flatworm that is of the phylum Platyhelminths, and you can see it's like a ribbon worm, and then you see its walking behavior very unique, that it raises its interior part first, tries to sniff some place, lands down, grabs the thing, and then pulls the remaining body towards the anterior end. Now, this being a piece of paper is proving a little difficult for her. Going about their nomenclatures, I have found a few names, in fact, more than one. Some call it the Planarius terrestris, the terrestrial flatworm. Some have, in some places, I've come across the name Isoca, Isocca, Isoca. Then there is yet another name, Platydemus manuarki, Platydemus. In any case, this is for sure, it's a flatworm and it's an invasive species with very remarkable lines over it. The underside is majorly yellow, lighter than the dorsal surface. It's yellow and it's very sticky, very slimy, very very jelly-like to touch, and I prefer not touching it because it is said to possess some toxins which are potent enough for smaller insects, but still I won't take any chances over this creature given the bad name it carries. So this is an invasive species and has been caused a lot of concern in various habitats across the globe. It is a voracious feeder and can wipe down entire local level of biodiversity, especially the land-dwelling creatures like the earthworms, snails, and caterpillars and butterflies and all that stuff. And it just doesn't satiate its hunger. It doesn't satiate. It keeps searching for some food somewhere or the other. So now, back to the plastic. Maybe I'll turn it over. Now that one which was quite lazily putting around is also showing some sort of movement. That is an injury. Unfortunately, that is an injury. So that injured one is squirming slowly, while this second specimen, you can see those lines over it, which give you, and that raised posterior part, the flattened part, it's pulling itself. I'll put it back in that bottle after this observation here. So various nomenclatures I've come across, but I'm yet to find a very specific, accurate name for it. And the best bet would be a DNA based assessment, for which I don't have any resources presently. Maybe someday, being just a basic setup, I don't have much of things around other than just a few alcohols, and that's all. So this was it I wanted to show. Once I had found them, what I did was, just for the sake of experiment, introduced an earthworm next to it, and then it crawled over the earthworm in a cross-like fashion, and suddenly the earthworm started, after a while, suddenly the earthworm started squirming vigorously, and then it just got like as if it was paralyzed. It stopped moving altogether, and it stayed in that state for about a few minutes. Thereafter, it was like back to its normal self, and then again it did the same. Again, it was probably bit, and then the same thing was repeated. Let me try and turn it over if we can. Yes, we have. So immediately before I lose any time. Oh, please, please, please stay that way. Let me show its ventral aspect. The ventral side is like just a straight line in the middle. Okay, I'll do it once more. Maybe it'll help if I disable the flash. Maybe, maybe not. I'll find my lens. This is another experiment I keep doing at times. I just fix this lens in front so as to get more clear view. Hopefully it works. It's very difficult to get. Hold on. Another few minutes and then I'll cut this streaming. You should rather focus on these lines, special lines. Okay, it's moving from here. You will see those lines much clearer this way. See how it raises its hood? So a platyhelminth is an invertebrate, which the common name is the ribbon worms or the flatworms. They are mostly aquatic. A few are terrestrial. This one here is a terrestrial one. They are complete. All the entire phylum comprises of carnivorous creatures. None of the specimen, I believe, is a vegetarian or a compulsory vegetarian. They could be occasionally, so, but otherwise, no. Okay, just one more thing. Let's try to focus on the streaks. Two parallel light brown lines, two broad dark brown lines. Hey, 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 leave my laptop, MacBook. Come back. I'll bring it up. So I was talking about the streaking over the body. Maybe this side. Okay, I'm trying to get an anterior. Okay, so you see those lines. Two central lines on the dorsal side, then two dark brown broad lines, followed by another streak of yellow and dark, followed by the yellow line or the yellow base, which continues into the ventral side. So this ribbon worm, Plenaris terrestris or Isoca, or maybe yet another one. Now the problem with such sort of presentation is that I cannot put the mobile through which I'm streaming on a tripod or a stand because I have to constantly move it along with the creature, and that causes a lot of handshake. How smooth. These are the benefits of being an invertebrate, that you can twist your body to unimaginable contours. What creature? Somehow it just has a dislike for paper. Maybe because the paper is absorbing a lot of the body surface moisture, and that could be one reason why it's avoiding water. Sorry, paper. I'll just spray some water over it here, mist it, and let us see how it does. Oh, somebody liked it. Great. Thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure to find somebody liking this effort, which otherwise is extremely boring for somebody else. Thank you, gentlemen or lady. So, going back, let us observe these lines on the body. Two median lines, thin brown, followed by a yellow band, which is the base color, and then we have this dark brown, again empty, that is base color, with a faded brown of median length between the dorsal and the lateral ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 3 on the other side. So it's a bilaterally symmetrical organism with 6 lines over it. The animal is very sticky to touch, and I don't want to take any chances of any sort of allergies or anything else. I'm not having gloves on me. Okay, so now once again from this side, let's try to get a grip of the lines on the body. Need some better light arrangement here. Nitesh, welcome Nitesh. So this is the first specimen. Then I have this other one here. The second specimen, which is less active, probably because of that little injury over its body. The third specimen is right there in this bottle, and it has stuck itself on the lid, except for this part. I think I'll open that. Wait, let me do it. Good. So this will be the last one, and thereafter I'll stop the streaming. Okay, this water is a little difficult for them to really live with. So now what I'll do is I'll bring all of these three specimens together, these individuals. First wipe the sheet, worksheet, and then let me bring all these three individuals together. Oh, it's taking fast. Realizing that it is being touched, it has started moving at a very rapid pace, and it's really remarkable. Wow, very impressive. Very impressive speed you got. So that will be all, folks. These three invasive worms. I don't know what one can do once they find them in their garden, but if you found them in your garden, that's a sign of worry for the other uh, creatures in that gardenscape, especially the snails and other soft-bodied animals like the earthworms and other friendly worms. So if you find them, report about them so that the local forest department or the agriculture sections, they can do something about it. All right, thank you very much for being with me. I'll cut the streaming now. Thank you for joining.